Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sadaf and today we are going to make a really special recipe. We are going to make buttermilk biscuits, or also known as English scones. Scones? I like to call them scones. Well, what do you call them? Just biscuits? Well, flaky dough? Well, let me know in the comments what you call them. So let's get into the recipe. First, in a bowl, I'm going to whisk 1 cup of flour along with 1/3 of a teaspoon of baking soda and baking powder with a dash of salt. And also I have preheated my oven to 220 centigrade for a while now. Sift them well. Always give your dry ingredients a quick mix to make sure that everything is nice and combined. Alright, then I'm going to add 50 grams of cold freezed butter. This is very important to use very cold butter. And I'm going to use 50 grams of it. You can make this step at a food processor very easily. Just add all of the dry ingredients with your cold butter in your food processor. Give it some quick pulses and it's going to be ready. But I just like to use my hands. I'm a very hands-on cooking person. I mean, using electronic appliances is easier, but you know what's not easy? Cleaning those devices. Well, tell me, do you like making things faster and easier and then hassle with the cleaning, or just rather make them the way they are? Alright, after you have added your cold butter, use your hands to gently rub the butter and flour together. Just make sure that all of the butter has covered each particle of the flour. This is also called the reverse creaming, which instead of creaming the butter with sugar or other things, we are actually letting the butter cover the flour. Also, don't worry if there are some large pieces of the butter left. They will all melt in together. All of this butter will actually melt and the water in it will evaporate from the biscuits in the oven, and all that evaporation will leave us with some empty space, which will give us a really nice, fluffy, dreamy biscuit. Also, this is a really good recipe to try with your kids because you know it's very hands-on, and I'm sure that kids will enjoy playing with their food, and it's really good and the outcome is pretty delicious. Alright, after it's in this stage, as you can see, it's like wet sand. You know those sands that kids play with? When you see that wet sand texture, and there are some big pieces of butter left, but it's okay, don't worry about that. Use half a cup of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, you can always make it your own. Use half a cup of whole milk and just add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar or in regular vinegar and let it sit. Make sure that your buttermilk is very chilled and cold. If you forget to store your buttermilk in the fridge, don't worry. While you are making this, you can leave your buttermilk in the freezer for about 5 minutes and it will be nice and chilled. Add your buttermilk to your mixture and just give them a quick mix. You will think that, oh my god, the dough is not good, it's all curdled, it's separating. No, don't worry, just keep going, keep mixing. If your dough is too dry, do not add more buttermilk or do not add more flour. This is very important that you do not add anything else more. I'm going to add some cling film to my surface because I don't want to clean it after. I'm going to add some cling film. Alright, then transfer your dough into your cling film. You can just dust the surface with a little bit flour to make sure that it's not going to stick. I have a bag of flour just for dusting here. Just dust it a little, not too much. Do not add too much flour to this recipe. It's really important that you're not adding too much, and don't worry, it will all come together soon. And as I said, this is a really hands-on recipe, so you're going to use your hands a lot. I'm just going to add a little bit of flour to my hands so it's not going to stick. And here you're going to make your dough to a rectangle like this, and then fold the dough over like a book. You know, when you are writing a letter and you're folding it, then flatten it again into that rectangle. With this step, we are going to make a nice layered dough which is going to be very fluffy and very flaky. Then fold your dough again from this side, form the rectangle again, and you will see that your dough is coming together each time that you are folding it over and over. You can use a rolling pin, but because my dough is very small, I'm just using my hands. Fold it once more. You're going to fold it around 10 times total, and make sure that you're quick. You don't want to overwork the dough so that the butter is going to melt. And it's really important that you are working quickly or you're not in a place that is too hot. The more you fold, you can see that it's getting together. It's not going to stick anymore. And we're slowly working the dough out to make sure that we are reaching our desired form. And now I'm just going to turn my dough into a square shape. Try making it pretty thick, about half an inch, and then using a very sharp knife, which is not serrated, cut them in squares and do not move your knife like this. Just go straight down, because otherwise you won't have that nice edge of the biscuit that we want to have. And also trim the edges. Alright, I'm going to place them on my baking sheet, which I've lined with parchment paper. Put them pretty much far aside. And also here's a tip: before putting them into the oven, put them in the freezer for about 5 to 10 minutes, because we have worked the dough with our hands and it's warm. I want the butter to be pretty much cold still. And while my dough is chilling, I'm going to melt around 1 tablespoon of butter just to brush it on top. Alright, I've cleaned here a little bit and I've made some gorgeous brown butter. I just love adding it to everything. It's like a magic ingredient. And if you'd like to know the recipe of my brown butter, well, let me know in the comments and I will make a video about that too. Our biscuits are pretty chilled. I'm going to brush this beautiful brown butter. And make sure that you are only brushing it on top. Do not brush it on the side because we want it to rise. Make sure that you are just brushing it on the top. And also, this is a very simple and basic recipe of the biscuits. You can always make them sweeter. You can add vanilla extract for sure. You can add around a 1/4 cup of sugar to the flour mixture when you are mixing it, to make it a little more sweeter. And you can also add vanilla extract, which, to be honest, I had my vanilla extract here, but I forgot to add it. It's nice and coated, and now it's going to the oven for around 25 minutes until the top is golden brown, and you can flip it after 15 minutes. Well, my biscuits, scones are out of the oven. I just don't want it to be more brown than this. They are just golden, perfect. They are so nice, so buttery, rich, perfect for afternoon tea or just having them for breakfast. I love them as breakfast with some creme fraiche and some homemade strawberry jam. I always have them for picnics and they're just perfect. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe, and if you did, well, wait, before you go, don't forget to check out my breakfast recipe. I have a playlist full of amazing recipes: quick pancakes, French crepes, which I think you should try my French crepes recipe for breakfast. It's amazing. I will link it here for you. And before you go, don't forget to smash the like button and also hit the subscribe button, and I can share more deliciousness with you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you later in the next video. Bye!